This next novel might be a little bit odd because it does involve, I guess, sex between a child and an adult. And recently in one of my reviews, I wrote about how books like Lolita can often get panned not because of their actual writing style or how good or bad the prose is, but simply because of the topic that it talks about. And I think that's really unfortunate. But I read this book a couple of years ago. It's actually by the recent Nobel Prize winner Mario Vargas Llosa, the Peruvian novelist who now lives in London. And I had no idea what it was about when I picked it up, but I'll show you the cover, and the cover is a little bit telling. You can see that. In Praise of the Stepmother by Mario Vargas Llosa. This novel is a really thought-provoking one on innocence, sex, and art. It has a lot of great masters sort of interspersed with the text. Let's see, another one. This is Titian. There. But and it really forces the reader to seriously question the most precious and deeply held of our assumptions, and not wishing to have our own little, insular moralities threatened is, I suppose, one reason why so many people have dismissed this novel as disgusting or immoral or something equally nonsensical, sort of like, as I said, Lolita is often has done to it. At its core rests a pretty simple story. After a failed marriage with his young son Alfonso's mother, a man named Don Rigoberto marries a woman, Donna Lucrecia, a woman with whom he truly adores and is certainly erotically infatuated with. On the first page of the novel, Alfonso, a boy of about 10 or 12, leaves a note on his stepmother's pillow congratulating her on her 40th birthday and saying that he will do his best to become first in his class to reward her. This is the inaugurating move in a kind of cat-and-mouse game that drives the entire novel forward in a series of events that reaches its apex in a lurid sexual encounter between the boy, Alfonso, and Donna Lucrecia, which occurs while Rigoberto is out of town on a business trip. She does not deliberately set out to have sex with Alfonso, yet still found herself titillated by the occasional fugitive thought of her and her stepson in coitus. At the very end of the novel, we find out that Alfonso wrote an essay for school in which he details his erotic relationship with his mother, and to make matters worse, read that essay to his father. Why did he do this? We don't really know. He doesn't tell us. Llosa doesn't tell us. In the last pages of the book, the housekeeper asks the boy Alfonso why he would do such an insidious thing to his stepmother that he loved so much, to which he replies, "I did it for you," which in turn sets the entire wheel rolling towards even more tragedy and destruction. Vargas Llosa artfully mixes the worlds of the erotic and the sensual in this novel, which is really one of the beautiful things about it. The lovemaking of Lucrecia and Rigoberto, the married couple, not the boy and the stepmother, and mixes that with Rigoberto's mundane daily ablutions of trimming his nose hairs and the application of cologne to his body and the special care that he gives his hands and feet. All of this about the body, which apparently, to judge from the reviews on several different sites, bored quite a few readers, is what drew me in and turned the reading experience almost into an ecstatic one. This was only heightened by the 6 exquisite color palettes that are placed in the novel to accentuate themes in the story, which I showed you a couple of earlier. Alfonso's duplicity, or was it duplicity after all, asks, as Slavoj Žižek has done by other means, isn't love the ultimate act of violence? After this novel, it's impossible not to see the ulterior and tenebrous underbelly of the most innocent of gestures. Whose desire is outlawed, Lucretia's or the boy's? It's impossible to say. Can Don Rigoberto somehow turn outside that scrutiny to which he so easily applies to himself in his daily bath in order to answer what has happened under his own roof? It's impossible to say. Some of these questions are never answered, but the way Vargas Llosa asks them makes reconciling oneself to the novel and its moral imperatives wonderfully fun to do, wonderfully fun to think about. By the way, translated by Helen Lane. This is In Praise of the Stepmother by Mario Vargas Llosa.